It's AhmedEHassan. So I originally grew up in Egypt, okay? Did all the way up to my high school there. My dad passed away, so my mom kind of raised us, myself and my brother. And then at some moment in our career, my mom decided, it's very important for her to give us the opportunity to actually go overseas and kind of gain international education. So she kind of pushed her career, to really try to come here, which kind of was a big challenge for her because she comes to Canada where did my undergraduate at the University of Waterloo. And then after that, worked a little bit in the States for IBM research. And then came back to Canada, did my master's degree. After that, worked for BlackBerry for, 5-6 years. And then after that, during the same time, actually, I did my PhD at University of Waterloo as well. Eventually after that, became a faculty member at University of Victoria. And then eventually moved back to Ontario, Canada and Ontario, at Queen's University, where I actually became a professor, and I have been a professor since then at University of Queen's University. So I think what the big thing for me. So I had one of my uncles actually, my uncle and my aunt, they brought me a computer, right? And that's in the old days. So it was like an XT, which is one of the early kind of Intel machines, a big machine, right? As I started working more and more with computers, I started to realize, I enjoy doing that kind of stuff, right? And I actually started realizing I'm good at it, right? And it was kind of a smooth transition in there. And, I'm very fortunate because, in the last 20 years, there was just so many big jumps, right? The internet happening, AI happening, ChatGPT happening. And every one of these jumps really has taken the whole world to the next level, right? What I've been working on is this idea of mining software repositories. So looking at all the data that's available in repositories and trying to understand how we can use them to make better software. Because today, with all of the innovations in AI, which is something we've been using as part of the MSR, we're recognizing that even the definition of what software is totally changing. And now as we move into AI, how do you really make sure that the software that is produced is trustworthy and safe? Kind of what we work on is this, you can think of it as kind of Amazon for computer science. For example, when development changes a file, we can say, people in the past have changed this file as well. Because there's a lot of AI being done to synthesize that knowledge across the world. So that's kind of the core essence of what we do. They're their own beasts with so much data being produced. So with all that data, how do you actually make sure that the system is reliable? How do you detect problems before they happen? So now we moved kind of what I was doing originally, which is only looking at pre-release, so the development part, how they develop the systems and all the data is produced, to actually post-release. I think a big part of growing this whole MSR community across the world is actually, right? So what is that, like 23 years, right? So I've been very, very clear on the focus. Yeah. Just because I've recognized from a lot of the collaborations we have done, or either research we have done, looking at open source projects, working with industrial partners, that it's amazing how much good information, how much good data is there, how little people value that, and how much you can do. I think the diversity of the fields that the Mustafa Prize brings is very important, right? And second, the impact of that is going to be very huge, because it's really moving forward. It's not only going to be one type of scientist, but it's going to be a combination of sciences together. And I do believe a lot of these are going to have at the core, or some big part of it will be computing in it. So it's very nice to see that the Mustafa Prize committee has a much more global general view on the world and much more comprehensive vision.